The first night she came, she didn't speak. I found her standing in the yard, soaked through, hair plastered against her face, arms wrapped tight around herself. The rain was falling so hard it almost erased her. She looked no older than my daughter. "Please," she whispered, "just for tonight." I told myself it was kindness, a dry blanket, a meal, the kind of mercy I'd once prayed someone would show me when everything fell apart. But when she stepped inside, dripping onto the floorboards, something in the air shifted, like the house exhaled. My daughter came down the stairs, rubbing her eyes. She froze when she saw the girl. For a second, I thought she recognized her. The girl smiled, a small, knowing curve of her lips. And just like that, I felt something move under my ribs, something cold and old, like dread. The first week, she said almost nothing, ate little, slept by the window, knees pulled to her chest. My daughter, 14, fragile, distant since her mother left, began to talk again. Not to me, to her. They laughed at things I didn't understand, shared glances that lingered a beat too long. Sometimes I'd wake up in the night and hear whispers through the walls, one voice low, the other trembling, as if afraid to be heard. When I'd ask my daughter who she was talking to, she'd say, "No one." But the girl would be sitting there in the corner, staring at me with that same faint smile. On the 8th night, I caught her humming. A song my ex-wife used to sing while she cooked, every note exact. "Where did you learn that?" I asked. She looked up, rain-colored eyes meeting mine. "You showed me." I laughed it off, told myself she was confused. But later, in the quiet, I realized something else. I had never told her my name, and yet she called me Dad. I started watching her, subtle at first, reflections in the window, the quiet space between her movements. She mimicked everything, my daughter's gestures, her words, even her silences. At breakfast one morning, they both reached for the salt at the same time, the same hand, the same rhythm. It was like seeing a shadow learn how to live. When I asked where she came from, she said, "I don't remember." When I asked who she belonged to, she said, "You." I stopped sleeping, checked the locks twice, 3 times. Then one night, I heard the front door creak open, bare feet on wood. I followed quietly, heart pounding, until I saw them, my daughter and the girl, standing side by side in the moonlight. They were holding hands, and for a brief, terrible second, I couldn't tell which one was mine. The next day, I took a hairbrush from each of them, sent the hair for a private DNA test. I told myself it was paranoia. I told myself it would prove nothing. 2 weeks later, someone knocked on my door. It was a man in a gray coat. His voice was careful, professional. "Sir," he said, "we received your samples. There's been a mistake." He hesitated, eyes darting past me, toward the stairs. "They're identical," he said. "Not related, not clones, but indistinguishable at a genetic level, like mirrored patterns. You understand?" I didn't. I went upstairs. My daughter was sitting on the bed, braiding the other girl's hair. When she saw me, her hands froze. I asked her to step aside. I looked into the girl's face, into those eyes that had haunted my dreams. "What are you?" I said. She smiled softly. "You made me." The way she said it, so calm, so certain, made something inside me collapse. She leaned forward, whispering, "You called her your daughter, but you never looked at her. So I came." My daughter began to cry. Not loud, just quiet, broken sounds. The girl touched her shoulder. "He doesn't have to choose now." And in that moment, I realized she wasn't here to replace her. She was here to complete her. That night, I waited until they were asleep. I packed a small bag, clothes, food, the photo of my daughter as a baby. I went downstairs, opened the door, and stepped into the cold. But before I left, I looked back. They were standing in the hallway, both awake, both watching. The girl spoke first. "Where will you go?" "Somewhere dry," I said. My daughter took a step forward, tears cutting clean lines down her face. Dad, don't leave me. I looked at her, then at the other one. I already did, I said quietly. I shut the door. By morning, the house would belong to them. It's been weeks since I left. I stay in motels now, keep the lights off, listen to the rain when it comes. Sometimes I dream of the girl, standing where the light breaks through the trees. She looks like my daughter, sounds like her too, but she isn't her. And maybe that's what I deserve, to be haunted by something that looks like love, but isn't. They say you can't replace what's lost. They're wrong. You can. You just have to lose yourself in the process. And I already did.